We're just 2 years away from entering the MCU's Mutants Saga, the era where the universe gets rebooted and the X-Men finally take center stage. Time really does fly when something this big is coming. But let's be real, Marvel Studios cannot afford to get the X-Men wrong again. After years of hit or miss adaptations, expectations are higher than ever. So today, let's take a few minutes to talk about 6 things we desperately need for the MCU's X-Men to truly succeed this time. It's seriously very obvious and long overdue, but I still have to say it. Cyclops was a weak, awkward wimp everywhere in the Fox X-Men movies, and with the perfect casting of James Marsden, so the MCU needs to give us his original comic accurate true form, a bold, strategic, skilled, and confident leader. Narrative-wise, he also needs to claim and swap the primal positions with Wolverine. More on that later. Meaning he should also be the main character of the Mutant Saga, as well as the main face of the MCU, sharing one of the spots of the Trinity with Spider-Man and Mr. Fantastic. Scott Summers isn't just the optic vision man, and never has been, so the MCU should display that he is also an expert hand-to-hand combatant as well, blending it with his optic vision to become very formidable. Side note, his raw strength can be emphasized through the fact that his optic vision isn't even considered optic vision, and that his eyes were just gateways into the punch dimension, which is why his optic vision hits like punches and rarely burns. But yes, the point is obvious. Cyclops in the MCU needs to be a natural leader. He's always the main character, and it's not easy at all to tackle. Like, people should be fearing fighting Cyclops the same way they fear fighting Captain America or Iron Man, not otherwise. Just like the need for Cyclops to finally shine as a main character, leader, and formidable hero, comic accuracy in suits and designs were also long overdue, except that we're getting this first in Avengers Doomsday, where the original Fox X-Men are not gonna be wearing black leather anymore. Hooray! I don't know why the Fox X-Men franchise was afraid of giving us the blue and yellow classic suits back then, but if it did, it would have made a great addition to the few things that's actually good about the franchise. These suits are vital to make the movies feel like they are fresh from the comic book pages, true to the fact that they are called comic book movies for a reason. We have the long overdue comic accuracies, such as Mystique needing to finally put on some clothes, Rogue with her yellow suit and brown jacket, Sentinels actually looking like Sentinels, and more. And we also have the new ones where characters who have never been in live action just have to look like their comic counterparts. Omega Red should look like Omega Red, Mr. Sinister should look like Mr. Sinister, and yeah, you know the drill. If we don't get comic accuracy with the suits and designs, we're just gonna get another repetition of the bland and lifeless suits and designs of the Fox X-Men franchise. Over the past 2 decades, we've gotten seriously peak executions of Magneto's story arcs and presence throughout the Fox X-Men franchise, and I love every single one of them. By entering the Mutant Saga of the MCU, I believe he, or the Brotherhood of Mutants, should never ever steal the antagonist spotlight ever again. The first few times will be iconic and unique, but after that it either just gets boring or pointless or both. X2 had Colonel Stryker hunting down mutants, and then suddenly we had Magneto being the threat here, capable of getting Professor X to nearly eradicate humanity. Last Stand had Jean Grey working with Magneto, yet it looked more like Magneto being the main boss here. Days of Future Past gave Magneto the chance to become evil again, as he just took control of the Sentinels and started trying to kill humans. After that, Apocalypse made Magneto a horseman, and lastly, Mystique's death made him a villain again by getting him to fight X-Men to kill Jean and avenge Mystique. This should not be continuing over in the MCU, as it will make the real antagonists look unimportant or weak compared to Magneto and the Brotherhood. Essentially, Marvel should not be milking success from Magneto and Brotherhood of Mutants, and instead keep up the amazing work that they are doing so far with establishing villains like Mr. Sinister and Mojo for their X-Men movie. as a chain reaction to Cyclops being a real strong, important leader figure in the MCU. The MCU Wolverine should swap with him and have a turn at being sidelined this time in the most extreme ways possible. No offense, I enjoyed Hugh Jackman's Wolverine holding the spotlight in the Fox X-Men franchise, but it is already time for the character to take a backseat break and return the spotlight to its original owner. Not saying Wolverine should get nerfed or anything, but in the MCU he should be just like his X-Men 97 counterpart, still a fan favorite and moderately relevant as a member, but rarely getting the narrative focus and just another ordinary part of the X-Men. Like outside the X-Men franchise in the MCU, in its own corner of the universe, Marvel can make it big and bombastic as usual, but in any X-Men movie, Cyclops will always be superior to Wolverine. The hierarchy of the team will be in Cyclops' favor always. Heck, as a start, Wolverine might and should not even be in the reboot MCU X-Men movie at all, just to re-establish the team properly, since the team in the comics never ever started with Wolverine as a member. Entirely different from Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix, where both crashed horribly even without Wolverine around, and it was also a perfect opportunity to upgrade Cyclops, but yeah, it just crashed. We all know the exact success recipe of the Avengers franchise. Basically, it started small and basic, with 6 heroes maximum going up against one threatening main villain. And then slowly from there, they built up their roster and end up being as power max as the Justice League Unlimited team, as well as building a multi-billion-dollar franchise in the process. The safest way of success for the MCU X-Men's turn is to follow suit and start with the OG First Class lineup. Not the 2011 movies lineup, but the comics First Class lineup: Cyclops, Jean Grey, Beast, Iceman, Angel, and Professor X. Use the reboot X-Men movie to establish their roles and presence in the universe the same way as the Avengers. This was also how C-tier heroes like Black Widow or Hawkeye become really memorable in the end, and this effect on Iceman and Angel and others is going to have twice the magic. By the way, do comment below if I should make a video fan casting the MCU X-Men First Class lineup. Additionally, this also gives time for each member to shine on their own. The smaller the team is, and we can also see a much stronger team dynamic. In the Fox X-Men franchise, the Sentinel robots created by Bolivar Trask barely had any presence at all. Personally, it would have made an even more sense for Sentinels to be used in X2, but even then that wasn't so bad. The only time Sentinels appeared was in Last Stand, unfortunately as a hit, and Days of Future Past. That's very less compared to what the comics actually shown us. Therefore, the MCU should learn from its underusage and actually make Sentinels a highlight when it comes to the war between humans and mutants. They were always everywhere to kill the X-Men and should never miss a feature or chance to make things difficult for mutant kind. Even though they were uniquely featured in Days of Future Past with overpowered upgrades, the Sentinels there still lack that classic look. So what the MCU needs to do for the Sentinels is to implement them as humanity's legion or army against mutants and also casual troublemakers, the classic giant robots capable of fighting, maybe because Trask thought size could beat whatever abilities the mutants had. That's all of the points that the MCU X-Men needs to take note of and accomplish. The Avengers being C-tiered heroes themselves, with Marvel Studios skills who kickstart a $1 billion franchise. Imagine the X-Men properly done. They will truly then be Marvel's future, and also their true golden age. I do hope Kevin Feige or Drake Schreier, sorry if I butchered the name, will see this and give us the true X-Men we've been waiting and anticipating for. Do comment down below anything else that MCU X-Men needs to succeed, personal opinions, and more. Thanks for watching until the very end. Have a nice day and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel or drop a like on my videos. I really appreciate your support. Goodbye.